Karen and I make up the STEAM team at the CDE Foundation, and we're really excited to kick off this program and share a little bit about the program. And so today we want it to be interactive. We've got a really small group, so if you have questions along the way, feel free to just come off mute and ask them. We have a little bit of an overview slide deck that might answer some questions along the way. So we're going to go through that, and then the majority of the time will be left for questions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Karen to really kind of guide us through this session.
Okay, thank you, Glennon. So we're going to be looking a little bit like why this peer mentoring program, and what is it, and what would be your commitment if you wanted to do this. And so let's just get started. Peer mentoring is basically where you're in a relationship with someone else, so you are mentoring each other. So there's times where you will be the teacher, and there'll be times where you would be the student, depending on what you and your pair, what goal you have and what you're wanting to discuss. So the reason we're wanting to do this is the past STEAM symposiums, we've always had a question in our surveys post-event, and we said, would you be interested in something like a peer mentoring program? And we heard from quite a number of people that they did want this, and we're thinking that this is a really good time to start it. There are a lot of people who are feeling isolated, even though we're completely zoomed in a lot of the time, but to be able to make some connections within our STEAM community. And what we're hoping is that this is really a place where you and your partner can create a safe space to have really candid conversations, be bold, dig deep, and be able to really share with each other. Maybe it's talking about some of the unwritten rules that you're seeing in whatever role you have, and you want to kind of explore how that's affecting you. Maybe it's something as, maybe a kindergarten teacher and you're wanting to know how to do assessments when it's remote learning and you're not sure the child is progressing. So it can be what you want it to be. This is not something where Glennon and I are coming up with the content and saying, okay, now you're going to come and you're going to have to go through a webinar with us. It is us connecting you with someone, and our job will be to help you as you're exploring and problem solving for something that's really important to you. So as we're thinking about, why would you want to do something like this? We do think that it's a really great way to take risks, but in a safe way, with someone who is really wanting to dig deep in the same kind of thing you're wanting to dig deep in. Perhaps you'll get a new perspective, be able to tap into somebody else's expertise, and ultimately be able to really develop yourself personally and professionally.
And I'll just add that, we're hoping to continue to build community across our STEAM Symposium community that we have. And we see this as a unique opportunity to connect with somebody that's outside of your organization. Again, finding that thought partner and accessing that safe space to explore some of those unwritten things is definitely top of mind for us as we launch this program.
Yeah, and we have heard from a lot of different people that sometimes you get into your own world, whatever that is, and this can be an opportunity to get connected with somebody. Maybe you're in Southern California and you want to connect up with someone that you wouldn't necessarily be able to see in Northern California. So through the intake form that we'll have, we'll be able to find out more about you and what you're looking for in a partner, and we get to be matchmakers. So it will be fun to be able to find someone that can enter into this relationship with you. This slide is really just talking about, this is not coaching. This is where you both will find some benefit, and you'll be able to support each other. And we're hoping that this becomes a longer term relationship that you can rely on, somebody that you can call up and say, hey, this just came up. Can I run it by you? Because I'm not sure what I think about it and I need to process. And it's somebody that maybe can help you in that way. So, what we are imagining is by this Friday, people, and we do have a number of people who have already submitted into this peer mentoring matching form. So I don't know if you've had a chance to do this or if you're coming here to sort of see what this is about before you submit. Then we will match you based on the criteria that you give us. And it won't take us that long to match you, and we will be announcing it soon after we get all the information from everyone on Friday. And then we would want you and your pair to meet. You'll define your own goals. This is not what Glendon and I are saying is like, oh, you're going to do this. It really is up to you. And then we're there to support you, helping you find resources perhaps. You get to choose your frequency. So we think that one time per month would be what we would hope, and then more often, but it's really up to you. So this is just use us to help you connect with people, but this is your chance to have some time with a pair. And then what we are imagining is we would bring you back together at the STEAM Symposium. Of course, we hope you would meet up before then, but to celebrate the connections that you have. And really, we're going to be learning from you. Is this helpful for you? We would like to have check-ins midpoint to say, are you getting something from this? Is there something else you need? Because we'd like this to be a pilot, and we'll have a reiteration. We'll learn from what's working great with you and what things you think we can do to make this more beneficial. So as far as a timeline, this month you would be matched up with your peer. You will schedule your first meeting, and then April through August, you'll meet as frequently as you decide you want. And we will have office hours so that if you and your person want to come in and explore something with us, we're available to you. Or of course through email, if there's something you're like, you know what, we're digging deep on this and we really need to have some research in this area, could you help lead us to that? Or we need another person who's really an expert in this so that we can pick their brains on something, then you can let us know that. And then in August, we are planning to have a back to school convening, and so that would give you a chance to come back at that time to re-engage with perhaps all the people who are part of this program, so that you can share lessons learned and then see what's next.
And I'll also just add, and we're going to talk about this in a little more detail coming up, but we're going to also provide some supports to you. So some resources to help kick off your first meeting, some checklists, some agendas for you to make the conversations easy and make it easy to have the connections. And you can use them, but you can also go off script completely. And we have three kind of big suggested ways to engage, and I'll turn it back over to Karen.
So again, this would be your program, but some ideas we had that would make it really useful. You could determine what each other's strengths are, and you can say, hey, the next time we meet, I'm going to share something, and I'll be teacher, you be student, and then you can switch off. You could even, if it works out for you, maybe you join them in on their Zoom classroom. The beautiful thing about being virtual with some of what we're doing now is that you, even though you might be living in a different part of the state, you could still go in and see and then learn from how somebody else is doing something. There's also knowledge sharing. As I mentioned, there's sometimes unwritten rules, and it's just a good place to talk about some of the undercurrents of things that maybe you can't talk about as much within, let's say, your school site or your district, and this gives you a place to explore some of those things. And then, of course, help each other, network. If you know of someone who could really help them in a specific way, we hope that this will help deepen those connections. ultimately what we want is to help you develop professionally, personally, and then help the students that you're connected in with, the teachers you're connected in with, so that ultimately students benefit from the work that we're doing, and that also benefits us in goals that we have professionally. So, as part of this um, peer mentoring program, definitely set up your first meeting and establish what you think you would like to have as the goals from now through the time that you're going to be meeting in August. And then really commit to that person. I on Mondays do a yoga class with someone, and she said, I really want to know that you're going to be there because it'll make me be there. So sometimes having someone else that you have to be committed to helps you show up. So decide how you both want to show up for each other. And I think this is a chance, if you can allow yourself to be vulnerable, you also can really bring some of the hard stuff that may be going on, and that you need a safe space to talk about it. And we hope that this can give you and your partner that. As Glennon mentioned, we're not just going to sort of throw you out into the wild, although you are welcome to be the wild one if you want. But we will give you some prompts, some things to help get things started, and then some ways for you to be able to reflect. This is completely up to you, but we want to be sure that if you need structure as you go forward, we will help provide that structure. And we really would ask that you give us feedback, because we want to do this in the best way, and we're learning best practice with this. And so if you are the type of person who enjoys a prototype and doing a beta test, then this is great, because this will be something that we're learning from, and we appreciate you letting us learn along with you. And ta-da, we've come to the part where please in the chat, or come, it's just us, so come off mute, and any questions you have or comments, Glennon and I are here for you. And I will put in the chat that form that I was talking about.
Oh, Karen, I already put that in
Oh,
for
you
us.
did?
Yep, so we're in good shape there. But are there any
Good for
questions
me.
or wonderings or things that we can address for this group, having been through the brief overview presentation?
Hi, everyone. I don't have a question. I'll just say I was definitely intrigued, and I can't even remember how this came across my radar. Oh, I think I was at a meeting that I attend with Glennon. So thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like in this day of COVID, it's just like, any way to connect with colleagues and peers in this work is useful. And if it can be done on Zoom, and we don't have to go through traffic or anything like that, it's kind of a cool experience. So I'm definitely looking forward to just seeing what might come of it. I myself am newish in the world of STEM equity work, and my background is more in education. So just being able to connect with more people who have been doing this work in whatever shape or form, I'm looking forward to. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for joining us. We're really excited to have you, and look forward to learning from you, and excited to help you make a new connection.
Yeah, and Sophia, you mentioned, how it is a benefit that you don't have to travel to be able to meet up with someone, and so that does allow us to match people up from very different geographic regions. And then also, one of the things Glennon and I do, we work very closely together. We see each other a lot in Zoom meetings, but a lot of times we'll have walking meetings where we just call each other and talk that way. And so, of course, partners can decide how they want to meet up. So maybe you are feeling that Zoom fatigue and you just want to walk and talk, and that's a good way too.
Hi, Fred. I see you coming on camera. Is there a question? Or are you
Actually,
just
there is
coming to say hi?
both. Okay.
Great.
My question is, in terms of topics and I guess points of discussion, how
Mhm.
do you want that handled? Is there a listing that we could just look for, or
Mhm.
what offer our talents, what exactly it is? And I just want to see the logistics and hear about it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we're going to do our best. In the forum, we're asking folks if they want to be paired most desirably based on a specific topic or based on someone who has a comparable role or someone, there's a third category there
There's
too,
grade span, if
grade
grade
span.
span
Yep.
makes, and
But
then here are some of our topics.
yeah, so there's a list of topics you can choose from, but to the what we said earlier, Fred, I mean, it's really, I think, most important that you just engage and get to know each other and learn about each other's backgrounds to start. That is really the most important thing. And then you can either bring an opportunity or problem of practice that you want to reflect on with someone else. It's really up to you to say, this is what I'm really interested in talking about. And
Sure.
do you have information, or do you know someone, or can we help each other with this potential challenge or opportunity of practice or um, idea? Or frankly, I just want to connect with somebody outside of my organization to have a candid conversation about something difficult that's going on in my organization where I can't have
Mhm.
this discussion. So it may just be a very candid thought partner on a difficult situation.
Yeah,
So there's not
sure.
necessarily a script there, but um, use this as a definitely start with like this networking and getting to know each other. And then
Yeah,
you can talk about whether it's a topic or a challenge that you want to bring. We would encourage you to do that.
sure. Maybe I did not represent my question well. I was asking more so of the logistics of after this, are you sending us an email saying that, oh, you chose topics A, B, and C, and this is your match? Or is there just a website that lists and we're on our own to seek out that person?
Right. So
Yeah.
we'll send an introduction email to the pairs and explain why we paired you up. Um, and then it'll be from there that you two take it and run as a pairing. So we'll send an introduction and some reasons as to why we thought you would be a good pairing, and then let you run with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just add, so, in the intake form, if there was some topic that was top of mind for you, then you could select that. Let's say it was, social emotional learning and well-being, and you really wanted to be able to, maybe there's something going on in your organization and you're like, you know what, I really need some advice because we're thinking of doing this versus that, and I just would like to have someone who's outside of the organization to talk about, and then you would let us know that here some of the ways you want to um, talk about that, and then you're welcome to, if there's something that this doesn't really get to what you're thinking, you can you know let us know and we can help be your matchmaker.
Mhm.
um, let's see if there was, and then some questions, we're just trying to make sure that we are um, serving a broad range and bringing a very diverse group together. So, we're wanting to know some things so that we can see if the program is being as inclusive as we're hoping.
I know some people are dropping off because we've kind of covered everything and met their needs, but are there any other final questions or wonderings as we're here together as a group?
I could put on dance music and we could just dance for the next 40 minutes.
Karen is an expert dancer via Zoom. We've seen that at some of our events.
If it's time for movement break, I'm there. And I would just say that if you're thinking of doing this and you know someone else, I mean, this is, we don't have a limit in who can participate. So feel free. Friday will be the deadline because we want to go ahead and get people matched up and be able to let them know fairly soon. So but feel free to pass this information along. It can be administrators, teachers, it can be, you know, anyone in our STEAM community. So you know that's quite a range of people. So let them know.
Well, if there aren't any additional questions, that's all we really have. Karen and I are going to hang out here for kind of an office hours. We did kind of advertise this as office hours until about 5 o'clock. So Karen and I are going to hang out, but there's no need to stick around unless you have a question or want to gain some additional insight. But we really appreciate you joining us, and we're excited to have the interest and see you in the program. And hope you have a good rest of your evening.
Thank you so much. Good to see you, Juanita. Good to see you, Fred.